heard many people say, yo, you good, man. You great, man. And if you did hear it, you only heard it from people in your area, wherever you played, wherever your stomping grounds were. Because those are your friends and they were being nice. So to hear him say I'm good, I'm like, thanks, man, thanks. He's like, but you're not going to beat Rocky, so save your quarters. Keep them in your pocket. Walt heard this, and Walt was like, yo, I'm just as good as him. I'll play Rocky. And the dude was like, alright, go ahead. And Rocky was like a machine. And I heard this. They said every time he beat the game, he would put another quarter in and play again. And he would choose a different character. So each day they said he would beat the game with each character twice. And that's a lot of quarters going in. But I guess if you got people surrounding you willing to get you quarters, like if he ran out of quarters, he would hand one of his cronies $1 and be like, yo, go give me change. And they'd be like, all right. And they would come back with 8 quarters like, yo, I put my $1 in there too, so you got extra quarters. Like, niggas is just loving him, treating him like a god. And I'm like, damn, we don't even treat Damien like this in my area. We didn't give a fuck who you was. We was trying to be the best, but they was just loving this nigga. So my friend Walter played him. He was like, all right, play him if you want. Walter went over. Walter was like, man, I can handle it. He ain't that good, right? And I told Walter, I was like, yeah, he ain't. He do what we do. What's so good about him? So Walter played this dude, and he gets demolished. He didn't win a round. He barely took him under 75% life. Like, his health bar was always full or almost full. The most damage he get is maybe 1 jump in or chip damage. But he didn't really, he was a wall. You could not do anything. And I'm just watching Walt get demolished. Then Walt's like, he don't believe it happened. He believed he fucked up. So he put another quarter in. And he played him again. And he gets creamed. And they told him, yo, no more quarters, man. Go to the middle machine or go to World Warrior, man. Get out of here. Fuck out of here, man. You fucking suck, man. Rocky didn't even speak to him. He didn't even acknowledge him. I don't even think Rocky had any reaction on his face. He was just a stone face looking at the fucking arcade screen, man. He barely turned his head or anything. And they was like, get the fuck out of here, man. You suck. What's your name? Walter? Get the fuck out of here, man. Yo, we seen you play. You nice. Yo, Jay, you come in, you play him. And Walt's mad. Walt was sensitive. When you told him he sucked at something, he would get mad and he want to fight. Walter was just mad and had his face. He was like, yo, I'm out of here, man. I was like, yo, hold on. And I was like, nah, I ain't gonna play him. So we bounced. We left. We went out, unlocked our bikes, and we rode home. I don't even think we even spoke. And Walter was way in front of me. We didn't casually ride our bikes. Well, I casually rode home, but Walter pedaled home real fast. Like, I guess he was going home to cry. I don't know. But he was way ahead of me. We wasn't riding next to each other and talking about the experience that we just had. We was quiet, and then he just sped up and rode in front of me and then just pedaled off home. And when I got to my area, I didn't even see him in Gino's. He wasn't even inside the pizza shop. So I go inside the pizza shop, and some people are there, and they're like, yo, where you been? You ain't been here for a few hours. Because if you didn't see somebody, that meant they was either sick, or their parents dragged them somewhere else for Saturday, or they on punishment or some shit. So I told them, I was like, oh, I was at Video Joe's. And it was like, Video Joe's? They was like, you seen Rocky? And I'm like, yeah. What happened? I was like, I didn't play him. They're like, you didn't play him? Why? You was scared? And I was like, well, kind of, but Walter played him. And he was like, what happened? I was like, he got ripped apart, man. And he was like, damn. And it's funny, man. When you talk like this, and it's like when we had these conversations, it's like somebody got ripped apart in real life and shit like that. That's how into this game we were, man. We lived and breathed this shit. And so they was like, damn, was it that bad? But he beat him with all perfects? I heard he be beating everybody with all perfects. I was like, nah, it wasn't all perfects. I was like, that's probably a rumor. That's just an exaggeration of how good he is. But he did fuck him up, man, badly. He barely got. If he got a hit, it was probably one hit, and then the rest was chip damage from fireballs or whatever, special moves. But he didn't. I said once Rocky got in close or whatever, he would demolish him. It's like he's a wall. It's like he knows everything you about to do. You can be holding down back, just down back all around, and he stand in front of you and not press nothing. But right when you about to sweep or do something, he then sweeps you or something. It's like he knows, man. And they were like, word? Fuck. Damn, that's crazy. I was like, yeah, and they got rules over there. I was like, you gotta prove yourself on the middle machine before you get to play the machine all the way to the right. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I said it's 3 arcade machines in there. There's World Warrior, and that's where all the scrubs play. Then there's the middle machine where new faces or people that want to play Rocky got to prove themselves. You got to play against his friends. I said it's on some boss type level shit. You got to go through all the minions before you fight the boss. And if you want to play, if you prove yourself to them, then you play Rocky. I said I played the middle machine, and they watched, and they said I was good, and I beat the game in front of them, so they knew I knew what I was doing. And then one of them challenged me, and I beat him. The second one challenged me, I beat him, and I beat the next one. But then the fourth one beat me. But it was close. But he said, I kind of proved myself and I can play. But before I can play Rocky, Walt jumped in and was like, I'll play him. He ain't this nice. And when he got demolished, he left the store. And he's like, how come you ain't stay to play? And I was like, I don't want to be in there by myself, man. I said, what would have happened if I was in there by myself and I did beat him? And they're like, true. So I chilled inside the pizza shop. And I started thinking, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go there next Saturday. But I'm going to practice all throughout the week before I go there next Saturday. And I'm going to get nice. And I'm going to be that nigga that beat Rocky. I had a dream, man. So I went back to playing Street Fighter with all my friends in my local, in my area. And we're playing and we're just chatting and we're talking and yeah, that's about it. I'm just practicing and playing and shit. And nothing was, I don't know how I was practicing really, because I wasn't learning anything new. I was just doing the same shit I did, and I'm used to beating the people in my area, and I was beating them all the time. And I was just waiting for Damien to come around, because maybe he could be the one to give me tips. I can't ask nobody else for tips, because they tell it, when I do, they say, I don't know, you better than me, you do what you gotta do. And I'm like, man, I don't mean shit. And I'm thinking, damn, maybe Damien could tell me something. But even though Damien get beat, he could probably tell me something. And I was just like, all right, man, I'm out of here. I kind of got bored, and I kind of understood where Damien was coming from. Like, you dominate your area for so long, you kind of want competition. You start thirsting for competition. You want to play somebody that gets you excited. And that's not to disrespect people around my area. We were still friends and shit like that. But when it came to playing, it's like I knew I was going to beat him. I knew I was going to beat him. This guy, I would send him to the Mortal Kombat machine. Yeah, I forgot. Mortal Kombat came out or whatever. Or been out. Mortal Kombat came out for a while. But remember, these certain businesses, they couldn't get machines like that. When a new game came out in the arcade, that didn't mean every arcade would have it. You had to wait till that business would receive it. It wasn't just like they were pumping out arcade machines like they could pump out game discs or stuff like that. You had to, it was a big thing, and it took a while. Like I said before, when I first told him to get Street Fighter 2 World Warrior, it took him months and months and months to get that in. You couldn't just, it wasn't no arcade shop that you could walk to and haul it into your car and bring it to your business. It didn't work like that. So Mortal Kombat was out, and it was next to Street Fighter. It was next to Champion Edition in the pizza shop, but very few people played it. I don't know, it was something like I played it, but it just didn't do it for me. But I did play. I mean, I enjoyed it, but the excitement I had for Street Fighter, I didn't really have for Mortal Kombat. But I would play once in a while, and there was a few guys that loved it because of the gore, and once people started learning fatalities, because that's another thing, people didn't know fatalities, and the only way you learned was if somebody knew how to do it. And you know, that spread word of mouth too. So whatever. So I went home and I was just thinking about, Dad, next week I'm going to Video Joe's and I'm gonna play Rocky. Hopefully they remember me and I don't have to prove myself again. So a week passed and I go, and what the fuck? Rocky is not there. This time I went alone too. I forgot to mention that. I went alone. And Walt said he's not going. I guess he was still feeling, you know, some type of way about getting fucked up and niggas saying, you suck, go to that machine, you whack, you know. And he was sensitive, like I said, so I guess he didn't want to go back. And I was like, yo, I'm going though. And he's like, no, I don't care, I ain't going. I'm like, fuck. But I was so like, I would have never went to an arcade alone before, but for some reason this time, I didn't think about the repercussions or anything. I just felt like, I gotta go, man. I have to go. I have to beat him. I don't know how, but I'm gonna just believe in myself. And I really was saying this, psyching myself out when I was riding there that Saturday, early afternoon. I was riding there on my bike and I was like, I could do it, man. I could do it. Yeah, just believe in yourself and you could do it. And then think positive. I was talking all this shit to myself. I got there, get off my bike, lock it up, going in. He ain't even in there. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this nigga and some of his cronies that I seen last time I was there, they were in there. And one of the dudes, a couple of them, they remember my face. And they was like, wow, you back? And I'm like, yeah. And they was like, where your boy Damien at? And I'm like, Damien? I ain't seen him in a minute. How you know about Damien? He was like, he ain't around. I guess he's tired of getting fucked up by Rocky too. I was like, how you know Damien's my people? And he was like, nah, Damien was here the other day and we told him some dude named Jay and his friend Walter came in here and we fucked up Walter and they bounced. And Damien was like, oh, that's my boy. He's nice. And he was like, yeah, he's nice, but he ain't nice enough for Rocky. And I'm like, shit. And I almost thought about riding back into my town and going to Damien's crib so he can come there with me. You know, I could tell him, yo, Rocky ain't there, yo. We could dominate over there. But I wasn't taking a chance of riding back to my town and him not even being home. So it would be a useless trip. So I was like, all right. I was like, that's cool. And he's like, where your friend Walt at? I was like, he ain't coming today. He busy. I didn't want to say he mad and shit like that. But one of them was like, that nigga probably cried. He probably cried when we whooped his ass. You see how mad? See the way he stormed out last time? That nigga, he probably still crying. He probably cried all week. That nigga still crying. I'm like, whatever. And he's like, you want to stick up for your friend? You want to play? And I'm like, yeah. And it was like, come on. And they invited me to the machine at the wall immediately. I didn't have to prove myself. And it's funny because I think it was the same two guys that was on World Warrior playing each other, trying to get good. So I went to the machine at the end and I played against one of the cronies and he was free. So I guess I understand why he's a cheerleader. You got them guys that just want to cheer on their favorite player because they suck. No disrespect to people that like cheering on people, but you know, I can't stand when a guy who cheers people on and he pops shit, but you never see him play, then you finally play him and he's terrible. It's like, damn, why are you a part of the crew? You must be you must be the bottom tier henchman. The bottom tier henchman in this crew, because you suck. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. So I beat him. Next guy played, I beat him. Next guy played, I beat him. And that guy that beat me last week when I was there, I beat him this time. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yes. I was like, yo, that's revenge for last week. And he was like, I told you were good. He was like, remember that? And I'm like, true. He was like, it's 1-1 then. I beat you once. You beat me once. And it was always close games with me and him. It was always like, it was never one of us had a convincing win over the other. And he was a Shoto player too. He was a Ken player. And I was a Ken player. And I hate mirror matches. Who doesn't hate mirror matches? Everybody hates that shit. Because it's like you both know each other's game plan automatically. Yeah, people play the same character in different ways, but to a certain extent, you basically know everything. You know what's going to happen. If you throw a fireball at the wrong time and the dude jump in, he's either going to punish you, or he gonna